Today I'm going to show you how to do the cables and lace dishcloth. Now this looks a lot more complicated than it actually is, and it does work up in just a couple hours. The border is worked with the dishcloth as you do it, so there's only 2 ends to weave in. Now before we get started, please remember to like and subscribe as I do have more tutorials coming out soon. So let's get started. For this dishcloth, I'm going to be using the King Cole Cotton Soft DK yarn. Now this is 100% cotton and it's in the color pale blue. We also are going to be needing a cable needle. If you would like, this is completely optional, but a lockable stitch marker or a scrap piece of yarn just to match the front of your work, and a size US 3 or 3.25 knitting needles. Now I'm using circular, but you can use straight needles for this. I just don't have straight needles in this size, so that's why I'm using the circulars. The first steps for this dishcloth is that you're going to use the long tail cast on method, and you're going to cast on 48 stitches. So using the long tail cast on method, cast on 48 stitches. The first 4 rows of this dishcloth are your setup rows. So what you're going to do is knit. You're going to work the garter stitch for 4 rows. So you're just knitting across back and forth for 4 total rows. And then I'll meet you back here and we'll begin the pattern. So I've completed the setup rows of the 4 rows of garter stitch. And now we're ready to begin the pattern. And this is going to be row 1 of the pattern. Now if you are choosing to use a lockable stitch marker to mark the right side of your work, this is going to be the right side that we're starting on. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark this. It'll be pretty easy to tell what the right side is once you start working the pattern. And you're also going to need your cable needle. Now for this dishcloth, it's going to have a little garter stitch border on the sides. So you're going to begin and end each row with a knit 3. For row 1, we're going to begin by knitting 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to begin the pattern. So we're going to purl 2, and then we're going to start off with cables. So we're going to start off first with the C4B. So we're going to use our cable needle, and we're going to take these first 2 stitches and put on the cable needle and put them into the back of our work. So those go to the back, and then we're going to knit 2. So 1, 2. Then we'll put our stitches back onto our left-hand side needle and we'll knit those 2. Then we're going to do a C4F. So we're going to take 2 stitches, put them onto our cable needle, always slipping them purlwise, and hold that at the front of our work. And then we're going to knit 2. 1, 2, and then put these 2 stitches back onto our left-hand needle. And knit those 2. And that's it for your pattern repeat across this row. So you will purl 2, and essentially what you're doing is that purl 2 is separating your panels, because you're going to have a total of 4 panels in this washcloth. So this panel right here is where we did the 2 cable stitches. So we have the purl 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 for that C4B, and then those 4 for the C4F. And then we purled those 2 that separate the panels. So your next panel is going to also be a C4B and a C4F, and you'll purl 2. So you'll continue that all the way down, ending with a purl 2 and knit 3. So I'm going to work my way down this row, and then I'll meet you for row 2. Now that I've finished row 1, we're ready to work on row 2. Now row 2 and all the wrong side rows are exactly the same. So anytime you're on the wrong side, you're just going to repeat this row. So in this video, I'm just going to show it to you one time, and then we'll just start working with the right side rows. So what we'll do is begin by knitting 3, and that's for that border that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3. Then the pattern repeat is to knit 2, so knit 2, and then you're going to purl 8. So essentially you're purling that panel of 8 stitches. because that panel is worked in stockinette. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll start the repeat again. You're going to knit 2 and purl 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you'll continue repeating that pattern until you get to the very end, where you're going to end with a knit 2, and then you'll knit those last 3 stitches. So it'll be knit 2, purl 8, knit 2, purl 8, and then end by knitting 2, and then knit those last 3 for the border. So I'll finish this up and I'll meet you for row 3. For row 3, we're going to begin by working the border, but then this panel here is going to begin working the lacy section. This panel will be stockinette section, and then we'll alternate where we have the lace section and then the stockinette section and end with the border. So to begin with this, we're going to start by knitting 3. And it helps to have the working yarn, not the tail. All right, so knit 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to purl 2. 1, purl 2. Now what we're going to do is knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over. And we're going to do that 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over. Knit 2 together, yarn over. Knit 2 together, yarn over, and then knit 1. Then we're going to purl 2, and then we're going to begin the stockinette panel, and that's where we're going to knit 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then that is your repeat. So we're going to do that again. We're going to purl 2, and then we're going to begin that lace panel. So we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over. Knit 2 together, yarn over, then knit 2 together, yarn over, and end by knitting 1. Then purl 2, so 1, 2, and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll notice we're to the last 5. So we're going to purl 2, and then knit 3. Then for the next row, you're going to just repeat row 2 for the wrong side row. So this is what you should have so far, and I will meet you for row 5. Now that you've done the repeat for row 4 on the wrong side, we're back to the right side for row 5. And on this row, we're going to continue working the lace section on this panel, and then we're going to continue the stockinette on this panel with the reverse stockinette between each one, as well as the borders. So for row 5, we're going to begin by knitting these first 3. So knit those first 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to begin the pattern repeat, and we're only going to do this 2 times. So we're going to begin by purling 2, and then we're going to knit 1. Then we're going to yarn over. We're going to slip 1 purlwise, knit the next stitch, and then pass that slip stitch over. You're going to do that 3 times. So yarn over, slip the next stitch purlwise, knit that next stitch, and then slip that slip stitch over. So pass that slip stitch over. So yarn over, slip, knit, pass over, and then you'll knit 1. Then purl 2. 1, purl 2. Then this will be easy. Knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then that's that repeat. So we're going to repeat it 1 more time. So we're going to purl 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to knit 1, yarn over, slip 1 purlwise, knit, and pass that slip stitch over. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So yarn over, slip, knit, pass over. And last time, yarn over, slip, knit, pass over. Then knit 1. Then purl 2 and knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll end by purling those last 2 before the border, and end by knitting 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is row 5. You see we're getting a little bit more lacy here. So now you'll repeat row 2 for that wrong side, and I'll meet you back here for row 7. For row 7, you're going to be needing your cable needle once more. So we're going to begin by knitting 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to begin the pattern repeat. And you're only going to do this 2 times. So you're going to start by purling 2. So 1, 2. Now we're going to keep working with this lace section. So we're going to begin by knitting 1, and then we're going to do the knit 2 together, yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over. Knit 2 together, yarn over, and then knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1. Now we're going to purl 2, and this is when we're going to need our cable needle. So we're going to do a C4B, and then we'll do a C4F. So these 2 stitches to the cable needle, we'll hold at the back of the work, and we'll knit 2. Then we're going to put these stitches back on the left-hand needle, and we'll knit those 2. Now we're going to do a C4F. So we're going to place the next 2 stitches, slipped purlwise, at the front of the work, and we'll knit 2. And then we'll place these back on the left-hand needle and knit those 2. 1, 2. And that's it for the repeat. So once more, we're going to purl 2. So purl 1, purl 2. Then we're going to begin our lacy panel by knitting 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2 together, yarn over, then knit 1. Now we'll purl 2, and then we're back to our cable. So we're going to use our cable needle. We'll do the C4B and then the C4F. So 2 stitches under the cable needle held at the back of the work. Knit those next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Then we're going to place those 2 back on our left hand needle, and we'll knit those 2. So 1, 2. Then we'll do a C4F. And we're going to place these next 2 stitches on the cable needle held at the front of our work. Knit 2. And then we'll put these back on the left hand needle. And we'll knit those 2. Then we're going to end by purling 2 and knitting 3 for that border. So 1, 2, 3. And this is what you should have so far. So now you have your 2 lacy panels, and then you have your other that is a stockinette that has that little cabling accent. So the next row, go ahead and repeat that wrong side repeat of row number 2, and I'll meet you back here for row number 9. Row 9 is a repeat of row number 5. So we're going to begin by knitting 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to begin the repeat, which we're going to do 2 times. So we're going to purl 2, and then we're going to work this lace section. So we're going to knit 1, then we're going to do the yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over 3 times. So yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. So that's once, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. That's 2 times. And our last one, yarn over, slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over, and then we'll knit 1. Then purl 2. Then we're going to knit 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's it for that repeat. So we'll do this one more time. We'll purl 2, then knit 1, and we're going to do the yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over. We'll do that 2 more times. Yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch 1 more time. Yarn over, slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over, and knit 1. Then we'll purl 2, and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll end by purling 2 and knitting 3. And there you have it. So go ahead and repeat row 2 for that wrong side row, and I'll meet you for row 11. For row 11, we're going to do a repeat of row 3. So we'll begin by knitting 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then we'll begin the row repeat, which we're going to do 2 times, and that is to purl 2, and then we're going to begin the lace section. We'll do that by knitting 1, Then we'll do the knit 2 together, yarn over 3 times. So we're knitting 2 together, yarn over. Then we'll knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and then knit 1. Then we'll purl 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do that again. So we're going to purl 2, and we're working that repeat again. Then we'll knit 1, and then back at the lace, we will knit 2 together and yarn over. Doing that 3 times. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, then knit 1. Whoops. Now we're going to purl 2 and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll end this row by purling 2 and knitting 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's what you should look like after finishing row 11. So for the wrong side, do that wrong side row or the repeat of row 2, and I'll meet you back for row 13. For row 13, we're going to repeat row 1 of the pattern, and that was where we did the purl 2, cable 4 back, cable 4 front, purl 2, cable 4 back, cable 4 front. And by doing that, what we're going to be doing on our next right side row is this lace section here is going to then be created over here. This cabled stockinette section we're going to be creating over here. So these are going to be alternating with this next section of the pattern. So the cables that we're doing now are going to close this up, but then they're also going to be the beginning of the next lace section. We'll begin row 13 by knitting 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to start our pattern repeat of purling 2, and then now that we're in that lace section, we're going to close it up with the cabling. So we're going to do a C4 back. So we're going to take those next 2 stitches, put them onto our cable needle, slip those off, and knit those next 2. Then we're going to place those back onto the left-hand needle, or you can knit off your cable needle if you like. Totally up to you. And we'll knit those 2 stitches. Then we're going to do cable 4 front. So next 2 stitches come off purlwise onto the cable needle up front. Knit the next 2. 1, 2, and then place these back on to that left-hand needle. And then knit those 2. So 1, 2. And then that's your repeat for this row. So you'll purl 2, do cable 4 front or cable 4 back, then cable 4 front. And you'll do that all the way across, ending with a purl 2 and then knit those last 3 stitches. And I'll meet you not after this row, but after you do the wrong side row repeat. So after you finish row 13, do row 14 as a repeat of row 2 or all the wrong side rows, and I'll meet you back for row 15. For row 15, we're going to begin building the lace section that we built here on top of the cables up here. And then alternately, we're going to build the cables on top of the lace section. So to begin this row, we're going to start by knitting 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to begin the pattern repeat, which we're going to do 2 times. And we're going to begin by purling 2. Then we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then purl 2. Then we're going to begin building the lace section. So we're going to start by knitting 1. Then we're going to do the knit 2 together and yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together and yarn over. And knit 2 together, yarn over, and then knit 2 together, yarn over. And we'll end that by knitting 1, and then that's your repeat. So we're going to do this one more time. We're going to purl 2, and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then purl 2. And then we're going to work the lace section. In the lace section, we're going to knit 1. Then we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over. Knit 2 together, yarn over, and then knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. Then we'll end this row by purling 2 and knitting 3. Then you'll do your next row as the wrong side row repeat of row number 2. For row 17, we're going to begin by knitting 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to begin the pattern repeat, which we will do 2 times, and that is to begin by purling 2. So 1, 2. Then we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to begin the lace section. So we will purl 2 and then knit 1. Now we're going to do the yarn over, slip purlwise, knit, and then pass that slip stitch over. I'm going to do that a total of 3 times. So yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over, yarn over, slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over, and then knit. And now we're going to do that repeat one more time. So purl 2, 1, 2, and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now purl 2 and into the lace section. So we'll knit 1, and then we're going to yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over. 2 more times. And then last one, yarn over, slip, knit, pass, and then end by knitting 1. Then we're going to purl 2 and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it for row 17. So for row 18, just repeat that wrong side row repeat of row 2, and I'll meet you back for row 19. For row 19, we're going to be needing the cable needle again, because we're going to be adding the cable detail that we had in this section. We're going to be adding up in this section. So to begin, we'll start by knitting 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to begin our pattern repeat, which we will do 2 times, and that is to purl 2, then we're going to work cable 4 back and cable 4 front. So taking those next 2 stitches onto the cable needle at the back of the work and knitting 2. Then we'll put these back up on the left hand needle and knit those 2. Then we're going to take the next 2 onto the cable needle for our cable 4 front, slide those 2 stitches, hold them at the front of our work, knit 2, and then we'll slide those back on to the left hand needle and then knit those 2. So that's 1 and 2. Then we're going to purl 2, and then we're going to start our lace section. So that's where we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together, yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2 together, yarn over, and then end by knitting 1. And that's your repeat. So we're going to do this one more time. We're going to purl 2, then we're going to work this cable. So we're going to do the cable 4 back. Slide those 2 off, hold at the back of the work, knit 2. Then we'll put those back on the left hand needle and knit those 2. And the next one is the cable 4 front. So we'll slide these next 2 stitches off, purlwise in the front, knit those 2. Then we'll slide these back on and knit those 2. Then purl 2. And now for the lace section, we'll knit 1, and then we're going to do the knit 2 together, yarn over 3 times. So knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, then knit 1. Then we'll end by purling 2 and knitting 3. Now repeat that wrong side row for row 2, and I'll meet you back for row 21. Row 21 is a repeat of row 17. So what we'll do is begin by knitting 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to begin the pattern repeat, which we'll do twice. And that's to purl 2. Then we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And purl 2. Oops. That's 1 and 2. Now for the lace section, we're going to knit 1, then we're going to do the yarn over, slip, knit, and then pass that slip stitch over for a total of 3 times. So yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over, and last time we'll yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over, then knit 1, and that's the pattern repeat. So we'll do that once more. Purl 2, and then knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now purl 2. Then we're going to knit 1. And 3 times we're going to do the yarn over, slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over. So that's 1 time, yarn over, slip, knit, pass that slip stitch over. Last time, yarn over, slip, knit, pass the slip stitch over. Then we'll knit 1, and then we'll end by purling 2 and knitting 3. And then for the next row, just repeat that wrong side row of row 2, and I'll meet you back here for row 23. Row 23 is a repeat of row 15. So we're going to knit 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to purl 2. Well, to begin the pattern repeat, we're going to begin by purling 2. So 1, 2. Then we're going to knit 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll purl 2. And then when we get to the lace section, we are going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together, yarn over 3 times. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2 together, yarn over. Then we're going to knit 1, and then that's your repeat. So let's do that once more. We're going to purl 2 and knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now purl 2. And then we're back to the last lace section. So we're going to knit 1, then we're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1, and then we'll end by purling 2 and knitting 3. And then row 24 is the wrong side row repeat that you'll be doing. Now, when I was doing the filming for this, I got up to row 23 and I messed up and forgot to hit record. I thought I had, but I hadn't. But what you'll need to do is repeat rows 1 through 24 one more time, and then we'll start the end. So I went ahead and just finished the repeat. So I just showed you row 23 on the second time. So this is what it looks like after a couple repeat, or after the second repeat. Now I'm going to do row 24, which is that row 2 repeat, and then we're going to have kind of like a extra bonus row that we need to do, where we're going to close up a little bit before we start the ending rows. So go ahead and do your repeat of row 2 for that wrong side, and repeat rows 1 through 24 once more. So you should have a total of 2 sections of rows 1 through 24, rows 1 through 24, and then I'll meet you back here to do that additional row. Now that you have the 2 sections of 24 rows done, we're going to do another row before we begin the finishing edges. And on this row, we're going to close up the, the cabling, and then the little lace sections right here. So we're going to do the same cabling as we have been doing with these stockinette sections, but we're going to do it a little bit differently in the lace section. So we're going to begin this row by knitting 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to purl 2. Now we're going to do the cable for back, just like we've been doing. So do the cable for back, knit those two. And then we'll put those back onto the left-hand needle, and we'll knit those two. And then we're going to do the cable for front. Knitting those 2 stitches, and we'll put these 2 back on the left-hand needle. One, 2. Now we're going to purl 2. And then for the lace section, to close it, we're actually going to start with a cable for front. So we're going to take these 2 stitches and we're going to hold them at the front of the work. And then knit the next 2. So 1, 2. Then we'll place these back on the left-hand needle and knit those 2. So 1, 2. Then we're going to do a cable for back. We'll take those next 2 stitches, slide them onto your cable needle, hold them at the back, and then knit those next 2. So 1, 2. Then we'll put these back on the needle. And knit those 2. And that's the repeat. So we're going to purl 2. And we'll work this guy as we've been working by starting with the cable for back. 1, 2. Place those back on, knit those 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. Then the next one, we're going to do cable for front. So 2 onto the cable needle at front. Go 1, 2, and we'll knit the 2 off the cable needle by putting them on your left-hand needle. So 1, 2. Then we'll purl the next 2 stitches. And then for the lace section, remember we're going to start off with this as the cable for front. So we're going to take these 2 stitches, put them at the front, and then knit those next 2. So 1, 2. We'll put these back on the left-hand needle. 1, 2. Then we're going to do the cable for back. So slipping those 2 stitches, hold it at the back of your work, and knit those 2. And we'll put these back on, and we'll knit those 2. So 1, 2. Then end by purling the next 2 stitches, and then knit the next 3. So now to finish this project, all you're going to do is knit 3 more rows, and then you'll just bind off knitwise. And then that's it. The washcloth will be all done. Give it a good blocking, and that'll help open it up a bit too. So I do hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this. Happy knitting. Bye-bye.